My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need. And I hope you enjoy the video.
So I wanted to talk about Resident Evil. That's my best impression. But I wanted to talk about it. Resident Evil. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Man, I remember the very first time I played Resident Evil. You remember back on PlayStation 1 where they used to have those PlayStation Underground demos? Like, it would be a disc that came with like 6 demos on it. Now we have the luxury of downloading demos for free. You used to have to pay for this disc. It was called a PlayStation Underground, and it came with multiple demos on it. You know, you could find it in like Game Pro magazines, but you had to buy it, and I'll never forget it. It was this one PlayStation Underground game. Matter of fact, I think a brother still got it. I had to go deep inside. I had to go deep into my drawer to find it. I think I still got it. Just to give you guys an idea, it was on PlayStation 1, but the only one I could find was back on PlayStation 2 because they used to make these on PlayStation 2 also. They used to make these on PlayStation 2 also, but it was a PlayStation Underground disc, and it came with multiple demos on it. You see Kratos, and it came with multiple demos on it, but just imagine it on PlayStation 1. And I remember the very first Resident Evil game I played was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I think that's what it was called. And then they also made it on GameCube and stuff like that, but it was on PlayStation 1 at the time. And that demo was on the disc, Resident Evil 3. And I remember before, I would always skip that demo because I never wanted to play it because I knew Resident Evil was a scary game. And back in those days, I was, I don't know, like 7, 8. I don't know. I was a young black brother. But so I'm playing these demos. I'm talking about every time I saw Resident Evil 3, I would skip over it and just play something else. It can only go on for too long until you get tired of playing the same demos. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not scared of this game no more. Let me try out Resident Evil 3. And I remember it was this one part where you was like walking past like a door, and that door popped open and these zombies came out. I turned off the PlayStation 1, and since then, I've been scared of Resident Evil ever since. I skipped every single Resident Evil, don't know anything about the story. All I know is that there's a virus and there's zombies. I know nothing about the story. Then, not too long ago, probably like a year ago, I'm like, dude, I'm a grown-ass man. Let me buy Resident Evil 5. And, I had Resident Evil 5 on the Xbox 360, but I stopped playing it. Not because it was scary. It was just, there was parts where, I'm like, I gotta watch my back. But I never had that feeling back I had on Resident Evil 3. Now, mind you, I'm a lot older now, but Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil today is not scary anymore. Resident Evil back in the day, it was a horror game, you always had to watch your back. You always didn't feel safe. You always felt like something was watching you. And these Resident Evils is more action type games. And even if you see Resident Evil 6, the trailer, it looks like in the gameplay, it just looks like this game is more action than horror. I think even Dead Space is kind of becoming that, because when they showed the gameplay for Dead Space 3 at E3, I think it's losing its horror. But this isn't about Dead Space. This is about Resident Evil. Resident Evil used to be that game. When you thought horror games back in the day, you thought Resident Evil, Silent Hill, that's as far as I could say, because back in the day I didn't used to play horror games because I was scared of them. But Resident Evil is definitely losing its touch. It doesn't have that horror feeling no more. It's not scary anymore. Now, like I said before, could it be because we're getting older, or is it truly because the game is becoming more action packed? There's more explosions and stuff like that. It just doesn't have that feeling no more, and I'm not sure if that is good for the Resident Evil franchise. You know, a lot of people say that Resident Evil 4 was the best one. Do not know because I didn't play that one either, but a lot of people say that Resident Evil 4 was the best one. Resident Evil 5, I don't think it was a bad game because, you know, I played it, I beat it, but it nowhere throughout that story did I ever feel like, dude, I'm freaking scared as heck right now. I never had those moments, and even back when Dead Space 1, and I know it's not just age, because when I played Dead Space 1 and 2, there were parts where I'm like, dude, I'm getting kind of scared right now, so I had to turn on the lights in my room. I ain't ashamed. I ain't ashamed at all. I will admit, I still do get scared, okay? I don't care. Don't care at all. But, so, I don't think it's just age. Maybe it truly is because Resident Evil, it's losing its touch. It's not as scary as it used to be. But, that's what I wanted to talk about. So, do you guys think that Resident is losing its touch? Because in my opinion, it's just not that, you don't get that same feeling anymore, and it's not just the age, at least in my opinion. So what do you guys think? Do you think Resident Evil is just not a scary game no more? It's just more action packed now, you know? So you guys leave comments or a video response, and as always, I greatly appreciate it if you rate the video, my brothers and sisters. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it could be a thumbs down, but what I do ask every brother and every sweet sister. So until then, I'll catch you guys in my next video, alright? Peace out.